What's up, guys? Today is going to be a different type of video from what I've done before. K-pop hard to swallow pills. Now, this isn't necessarily the same as K-pop unpopular opinions. They're a little bit more intense. These are just things that I think people need to understand and get through their skull. And I'll be delivering some very tough news, so if you can't handle the truth, proceed with caution. Number one, even if your bias is your entire life and you look up to them so much, you're still such a small part of theirs. I extra understood this after the whole Sungri thing, but your bias has a whole life outside of their career and what they show you on camera. And they have their own friends, relationships, they may do drugs, they have sex, they have their own political opinions and views on life. And more importantly, they're capable of being a bad person. And I still trust and love all of my biases because I'm not going to let one situation/man ruin standing idols for me. But I don't think it's good to stan or idolize someone blindly, undeniably, without doubt, just because you like the persona of them for which they broadcast to the world. That's such a small part of who they are, I think. Number two, media play and payola are the most misused words ever in Stan Twitter. In the music industry, payola is record labels paying radio stations to play their artists' songs for higher charting, and media play is publishing pseudo-slanderish/unnecessary articles to sway public opinion. Whenever a group accomplishes something or their company broadcasts their success, that's not media play. Just because a group sold a lot or were successful on charts doesn't mean they used payola. That's not even what payola is. And whenever an article on a group's success is published, that's not media play. That's the company successfully promoting their group and then showing everyone their success. People just call it media play and payola because, one, they underestimate certain groups, and they also just don't want to admit that they're successful. Number three, BTS paved the way has really started to turn into a phrase to undermine other groups. I'm not saying BTS didn't pave the way because they did, and I explained it in one of my older videos about BTS and like everything that they did in the West and like the big impact that they had. But people just like to bring them up whenever a K-pop group achieves something. Like when GOT7 and EXO were nominated for the top social artists, whatever, fans' initial reaction were BTS paved the way and to dedicate both nominations to them. And I wouldn't have a problem with the phrase if it didn't have such bad intentions most of the time. Like, groups are great in their own right from their talent and their fans. So, next. Bandwagon hate doesn't work and bandwagon standing doesn't work. People do this all the time, but I honestly think that it's ineffective. Like, for example, the bandwagon hate on Blackpink in 2018. They were probably dragged the most last year, and even during Kill This Love comeback. So many people bandwagon hated them, but they just got more popular, more successful. And the same with bandwagon standing. I remember when Chungha first came out and everyone was fawning over her and telling everyone to stan and how much they loved her. But then when her music was released, no one could be found. I think bandwagon standing comes from clout as well, but in the end, it just doesn't work out. Like, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so this next one is kind of small and ties in with the bandwagon standing I was talking about before. But Twice is the token girl group for a lot of stans. And before, in 2017, I feel like it was Blackpink. But once they started to become successful, people dropped them since they didn't like that for some reason. And then same with Red Velvet. So many people liked them after Bad Boy and their Girl Crush. But then those same stans instantly dropped them when they didn't do another Girl Crush song in the summer. So I think Twice have a lot of bandwagon stans that will drop them eventually. But none of this is really such a big deal because it brings me to my next point. Number 6, nothing said online really matters. I know that I get annoyed whenever someone comes for someone I stan or my fave or just straight up lies on them, but it really doesn't matter. The stans who do that don't have lives of their own to talk about, so they bash others to stay entertained. Also, if you could see and hear them while they talked, it would almost be laughable. Half of these people get their entire personality and opinions from stan Twitter, and the other half are so unhappy and insecure within themselves that they talk about others and feed off the attention they get because they lack it at home. K-Buzz is a very good example of this. I know in K-pop, K-nets and internet comments are exaggerated and are sort of a little bit more meaningful, but mostly it's just drama that's unnecessary that people can pretty much see through. So all in all, like, nothing said online matters, like, really. Number 7, pretending/claiming not to know second generation groups is not a personality trait, and it doesn't make you edgy or cool. That's like pretending not to know the Rolling Stones or Oasis because it's old music. Like, these are some of the most respected bands in music history, and this is mainly coming from the fans who got into K-pop like yesterday or just disregard second generation for clout, but it literally doesn't make sense to me. Second generation started the Hallyu wave and they're your fave's fave, so I don't understand like what exactly you're getting out of pretending they don't exist or aren't impactful in the big scheme of K-pop. Music outlets barely care about K-pop. They only care about the clout/engagement from K-pop stans. It might have increased a little more last year, but you could practically see that it's more of the same. Like when Billboard nominated EXO and GOT7 for their awards, they couldn't even get a picture of them to broadcast when they were nominated. Billboard has straight up interviewed GOT7 twice, and they still couldn't get a picture for them. That just proves to me that they don't care. And the sooner people realize this, the better. And lastly, no one cares about cultural appropriation or problematicness in the real world. No matter what your stance on the topic is, whether it's bad for celebrities to do or if it's inconsequential and doesn't mean anything, it literally does not matter. Careers aren't ending and bags aren't being stopped by cultural appropriation or controversial idols because no one actually cares. Problematic artists exist anywhere, within and without of K-pop. This ties into sort of with what I said about nothing online matters, because no one is really calling out cultural appropriation beyond social media. There's no laws against it. No one is condemning anyone for it, so no one actually is doing anything about it. So I don't understand why people are acting like it's an end-all be-all for people's careers. Okay, so if you made it to the end of the video, let me know what you guys think of all of these. I'm actually really curious, and I'll see you guys in the next one.